Hi everyone. The next concept is method overriding. So, what is a method overriding? So, we already know about a method overloading. Okay. So, what is method overloading? Just recall it. So, defining a method defining more than one method with the same name. Okay, where they differ in the number of order of parameters, number of parameters, and type of parameters. Okay, but we don't consider any return type. So just recall it. Method overloading is nothing but creating more than one method with the same name, but they differ in the order of parameters, means number of parameters in a method, and uh, number of parameters. Order is nothing but the sequence of presence of parameters. Next one, number means 2 3 parameter. Number means in one method we have a 2, in method 1 we have a 3. Okay, so parameters like that. And the next one, type. So type means in one method we have a integer, in one method we have a float. Okay, all we discussed, right? So that is a method overloading. In the same class creating more than one method with the same name, but they differ in the parameter definition. There we cannot consider the return type. That is called as a method overloading. Okay, now we have another concept, that like a method overriding. What it is? It is nothing but it is happening in the inheritance. Okay, when we comes to the single class, then there we have a method overloading. But when comes to the easier relationship, that is inheritance, here we have a concept of method overriding. Okay, so what it is? If a subclass or child class has the same method as declared in the parent class, it is known as method overriding. Okay, so just to differentiate, method overloading means it restricted to single class, whereas method overriding means it is defined with always inheritance. Super and subclasses definition is required. Okay, in both classes, if the method having the same name, then that is called as a method overriding. Okay, so in other words, if subclass provides the specific implementation of the method that has been provided by one of its parent class, it is known as a method overriding. Okay, so what it means? So in both the subclass and superclass, we are having the same method, but we don't want to provide the same implementation. Okay, same set of statements is no need to be there in the superclass method as well as the subclass method. Okay, so in superclass one kind of definition maybe exists, in the subclass one kind of definition implementation of method can be happen. Okay, so that is we'll see the example. So usage of Java method overriding this is okay. So it is used to provide a specific implementation of a method. Okay, so this is the implementation provided by the superclass, so we have to follow it. Okay, that kind of restriction is not there. Okay, a subclass can implement of its own method definition. Okay, that is nothing but a method overriding. So is used for runtime polymorphism. We know what is polymorphism. What is polymorphism actually? So exhibiting more than one form. So you are only a best example for polymorphism. So you are act like a student in college, you are act like a brother to your sister, brother, grandson, granddaughter, or a son. Okay, so like this you are presenting many forms, many faces, many roles. That is nothing but a polymorphism. So if it is happening at runtime, that is called as runtime polymorphism. So when comes to the rules for Java method overriding, so method must have same name as in the parent class. Okay, so method overriding exists only at inheritance, and after that having the same name as a parent class, and have the same parameters, no differentiation with the parent class. Okay, so parameters presentation is also, declaration also same. Okay, but when comes to the method overloading, it is differ. So we'll see the differences also. And must be easier relationship. Okay, if inheritance is there, If both parent and subclass is having the same method name and also they don't differ in the parameters, then that is called as a method overriding. Okay, first we'll see the example what is happening without a method overriding. Okay, so class vehicle, there we have a void run, system.out.println vehicle is running. And the next one, class bike extends is a keyword for the inheritance, it extends the vehicle class. The compulsory method public static void main is defined here, and we are creating an object here. So bike, no constructor is there, no superclass constructor as well as subclass constructor is there. So just we are taking the object, by the object we are calling a run method. So where is the run method? Here. So what is the output of this entire program is vehicle is running. Okay, that is good. So there is no problem with the execution of a program. But if I want to know how bike is running, whether bike is running safely, or so here we are know about vehicle is running. Vehicle means it may be a car, bike, or some other trucks, or maybe buses. Okay, whatever is the vehicle. But the thing is, I just want to know whether bike is running. Okay, so I want to create. So if I want to create a run method, okay, by call the run method, we are getting a vehicle is running message which is already there in the vehicle class in the run method. But I want to present how a bike is running. Okay, so for that I have a I need to implement a new definition for the run method in the subclass also. Okay, so that is happening here. If you observe the same example, class vehicle void run system.out.println vehicle is running. Okay, vehicle is maybe a car, bike, bus, truck, whatever. But I just want to know how a bike is running. So bike 2 extends a vehicle, void run. Here I am presenting a method with the same name, with the same parameters, the same as it is. Okay, so in return type also it's same. So system.out.println bike is running safely. Okay, this method having an implementation of a bike is running message in the bike. Okay, so by this run method I can understand how a vehicle is running. By this method I can understand how a bike is running. Okay, so the same with the method with this different implementation. Here vehicle is running, here bike is running safely. Okay, so when we call when we create an object and call that object, so first subclass method is invoking. If you want to call a superclass, you can use a super keyword. Okay, so that is okay. But my intention is I have to tell present here. So even though we have a superclass and subclass, two methods. Okay, so what is the use of this kind of method overriding is I can implement any kind of code here in the subclasses by having the same method. Okay, there is no differences of return type, name of the method, even parameters also. Okay, so that is the thing. Okay, so method overriding is nothing but creating a same method in the subclass with the same name but having the different implementation. Okay, so that is about a method overriding. And easy relationship, inheritance should be there between classes, otherwise it is not possible. And we'll see the real time example of Java method overriding. Okay, you will better understand by this. So this is a inheritance where SBI, ICICI, Axis are the different banks exist in the real world. Okay, these are comes under category the bank. SBI is a bank, ICICI is a bank, is a relationship exists between bank and these three kinds of banks. Okay, when comes to the rate of interest of a specific bank, SBI having let's take an example of 8% of ROI, return of interest, whereas I mean different banks have different interest rates on different loans. Okay, for example, housing loan, gold loan, education loan, personal loan. Okay, like this, different types of loans are there, as well as different rate of interest are available. For example, if you take SBI, it has a 8% of interest, and ICI it has a 7%. It in Axis it has a 9% of interest. Okay, but every bank provides the rate of interest for any kind of a loan. Okay, so rate of interest is common for every bank, but based on the bank they having different percent of rate of interest. Okay, so that is the thing we have to implement it with the method overriding here. If you see class bank having rate of interest, it will return 0. For example, we are taking 0. But when it comes to the SBI bank, it extends bank, so inheritance is exist here, and the rate of interest by the SBI is 8. ICI is extends bank, rate of interest is 7. When comes to the Axis, rate of interest is 9. Okay, so we have a 4 classes and 3 classes extends the bank class. Inheritance exists, and if you observe here, the methods in the classes are same. Means method overriding is happening. Return type same, name of the method same, parameters. Here we don't have any parameters. Even though parameters exist, that is also same. Okay, so method overriding is happening. Okay, so when comes to the execution of this program, we need a main method. So I am creating an object. If already constructed from the previous video example, if constructor is there, so they will call. Okay, but here we don't have any constructors here, then that's why we use these definitions for the objects creation. So for SBI, yes, ICII, Axis A. Okay, so we are not presenting a multi-level inheritance. Okay, so if it is a multi-level, so creating an object for one least subclass is enough, but here we have presenting different kind of inheritance. Okay, so that is nothing but multiple inheritance. Okay, there we have creating an object. By this object we are calling a particular class method. Okay, so execution is happening. So rate of interest based on the return values 879, the values will print here. Okay, so in this entire program what you have to understand is, so you need to present the same method, but the implementation is nothing but the code in a specific method. Here for a bank we don't return any return of interest, but when it comes to the SBI, ICI, Axis, they having different interest rates. Okay, but here for the same method we are presenting different code. Here we are returning 8, 7, 9. So if it is a situation, if you want to do like this, same method applicable but with a different implementation, okay, then you can go with the method overriding. Okay, so that is about method overriding real time example. All banks having the return of interest, but the percentage may differ. That means having the same method with a different implementation. In that case we have a method overriding. And some interview questions are presented here. So can we override a static method? If you observe here, These methods are not static, they are instance method. Okay, so if you specify static keyword, then they also are called as a static methods, otherwise they are called as a non-static or instance method. Okay, so now the question is, can we override a static method? No. Why? Because static methods cannot be overridden. So they provide, of course they provide a polymorphism, okay, but at runtime. Okay, so why we cannot override a static method? Now you have an answer for why we give a no as an answer. Because the static method is bound with a class, whereas the instant method is bound with an object. Okay, if you observe here, so we are calling these methods with an objects of classes, right? Not by class. When we, if you recall the static keyword, so static keyword is related with a class, means by the object we no need to call the static method directly. Even if you take an example here, public static void main method is a static. Are we calling this main method with any object? No. So it is inbuiltly called by the class directly. Okay, so if it is a normal method, instance method, non-static method, then those should be called by object only. If it is a static method, no need of any object creation for that. By implicitly it will called by the class. Okay, so that's why if it is an object, if it is a method called by object, if you want to call a method with the object, then those methods can be possible for override. Okay, not all other, not static method. So static belongs to class area and instance belongs to heap area. So but that's why we can call the objects with the help of uh, with the help of object. Can we override a Java main method? No. Why? Because Java is also a static method. So static methods cannot be override and main also cannot be called. And these are the differences between method overloading and method overriding. Okay. So just what we just till now what we discussed is presented here. When it comes to the method overloading, okay, so it is mainly meant for increase the readability of the program. So it is used to, whereas method overriding, it is used to provide a specific implementation. Okay, so different definitions for implementations for a method is happening in the method overriding. So method overloading is performed within a class, single class, whereas method overriding is required always is a relationship, that is inheritance. Method overloading, parameters must be different. There is no consideration of return type. Okay, but when it comes to the method overriding, parameters must be same. Okay, method overloading is an example of compile time parameter, means before running it will happening, but when it comes to the overriding, so runtime polymorphism is happening. And method overloading can be performed by the changing return type of the method. Okay, return type we didn't consider. Okay, only what we consider is name of the method and parameters. Name of the method should be same, whereas the parameters are differ in the method overloading. Okay, whereas in method overloading, so return type must be same in the method overriding. Okay, so return type also same, name of the method also same, parameters also same. But when it comes to the here, we don't consider return type, name of the method same, parameters may differ. Okay, so that is about a difference between the method overriding and method overloading. That's all. Thank you.